Morning students. In the last class we discussed about one-dimensional array. What is one-dimensional array? How to create one-dimensional array and how to read elements into the one-dimensional array and how to display those elements on the screen. So this is what we discussed in the previous class. In today's class we discuss about a 2D array, that is two-dimensional array. Okay. So in the last class, this is what we discussed. So how to create one-dimensional array. So this one we discussed what is one-dimensional array, how to create one-dimensional array. There are two ways to create the 1D array. That is this one. So and then this is another way of creating array, 1D array. So and also we discussed a program related to 1D array, that is how to declare, instantiate and initialized and how to traverse 1D array. This is what we discussed in the previous class. In today's class we are going to discuss about two-dimensional array. So as we discussed in the previous class, 1D array means the array with one subscript of index is known as 1D array. In the same way, here, hence it is two-dimensional array. Hence it is two-dimensional array, two subscript of index. An array with two subscripts of index is known as two-dimensional array. Right. So in the previous class we have seen that only one subscript of index is there. If you observe the previous slides, so if you see here, this is array. Here we are having only one subscript of index. If this type of subscript of index are two are there, if there are two subscript of index, then it is known as two-dimensional array, right? So in the case of one-dimensional array, we discussed that it is going to store either row elements or column elements, either row elements or column elements, but not both, right? That is what we discussed. But in the case of two-dimensional array, we can store row element and column element, both we can store here, right? The two-dimensional array is nothing but an array of arrays in the case of Java programming language. So if you see here, so it contains both rows and columns. So this is array used to store rows and columns type of data. For example, if you take matrices, in mathematics we learn about the matrices. Already we have learned in our 10th class and intermediate, we learn about the matrices. Matrices contains rows and columns. If you want to store such type of data, we go with 2D array, right? So in the case of 2D array, you can store rows and columns both, right? So to access the row element, we are having row index, and to access the column element, we are having the column index, right? So if you want to access this particular element, you require both row index and column index. Rows are having row index and columns are having column indexes, right? So with the help of these two indexes, that is row index and column index, we access an element of the 2D array, right? So next one, if you see here, this is the structure how 2D array elements are stored, right? So if you observe here, this is a memory location, this is another memory location, this is another. These are the memory locations. As we discussed in the 1D array, we are having memory locations in continuous memory locations. That too we are having only one row or one column, but not both. But here you can observe this is one row and this is another row, this is another row. This is the combination of three rows are there, and at the same time here three columns are there, right? There are three rows and three columns. It means this array is capable of storing 9 elements. 3 into 3. 3 rows and 3 columns. 3 into 3. 3 threes are 9. It means this array, whatever we defined here, whatever we drawn here, this array is capable, the size of this array is capable of storing 9 elements, right? So here you can store one element, here another element, here another element. In this way, 9 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 elements we can store here, not more than that, right? So we know that in the definition of the array, indexes always starts from 0, right? That's why if you observe here, here also row index starts from 0 and column index are also starts from 0, right? Okay. When comes to the name of this memory location, so if you want to store an element here, then you have to write name of the array, row index and column index of this particular cell. This is a cell. Cell is nothing but combination of row and column is known as cell, right? So in this cell, how to access or how to store an element in this particular cell means with the help of this location. This memory location name is x of 0, 0. X is the name of the array and 0 and 0. So this is row index 0 and this 0 is column index, right? This is what the name of this memory location. In the same way, if you want to store element in this particular location, then how to represent this location, how to name this location, we know. So first you have to write name of the array and row index and then column index, right? Order should be like this only. First you have to write row index and then column index, not first column and then row, not like that. First row index only you have to write and then only you should have to write column index, right? So this is row index and this is column index. So this particular location, how we represent, this is the name of the array. So for this entire row, index is 0, right? For this entire row, index is 1. For this entire row, index is 2. For this entire column, index is 0, right? If you want to access this memory location, the name of this memory location is name of the array, row index and column index. In the same way, if you observe here, if you observe this location, name of the array is x, name of the row index is 2 and the column index is 2. The combination of name of the array, row index and column index represents this particular memory location, right? This is how to represent 2D array. So in this 2D array, whatever we drawn here, in this 2D array, number of rows are 3 and number of columns are 3. It is 3 rows, 3 columns, right? So in one subscript of index, you have to write number of rows. In another subscript of index, you have to write number of columns. So we know that in the case of 2D array, we have two subscript of index, right? This is one and this is another one. So if you want to represent this array, the size of this array is x of 2, 3, right? So the size of this array is, first one, name of the array is x. So we know that 2D array contains two subscript of indexes, right? This one and this one. So in the first subscript of index, you should have to write number of rows. How many rows are there? 1, 2, 3, right? So this is 3. And here number of columns. How many columns are there? 4, right? 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So here you have to write 3. So this is what the size of this array, this 2D array, right? This is the name of the array, number of rows, number of columns, right? So this is how to write the 2D array. Okay. Okay, this is what the basic definition of the 2D array. An array with two subscript of index. Related to this particular slide, what we have learned is, so what is 2D array? How to represent that array. So an array with two subscript of index, so is known as 2D array. In the first subscript of index, you have to write number of rows. In the second subscript of index, you have to write number of columns. Right? This is the representation of the 2D array. So if you want to locate particular location, if you want to access an element from particular location, the name of that location is, how to represent that name of location means name of the array, row index and column index. Right? This is what the 2D array definition. Right? So if you observe here, as we discussed in the previous class, in the case of 1D array, we learned what we learned there, what is 1D array, how to create 1D array. In the same way, here also, first we discussed what is 2D array and then how to create 2D array. Here also, we are having two ways. So in the first method, in the first way, if you observe here, in the single sentence itself, we created the array. We declared the array. We assigned the elements. If you are declaring and assigning elements in the single statements, it means what? While declaring itself, you are assigning the elements also. It means automatically instantiation is also done here. No need to write in separate statement instantiation, because while declaring the array, you have initialized the elements also. That's why instantiation is also done here. Instantiation is nothing but allotting memory, right? So here, if you observe here, how many rows are there? This is one row, this is another row, this is another row. It means three rows are there. Right. So the size of this array, the name of this array is marks. It is having three rows, and how many columns are there? 1, 2, 3. Here also 1, 2, 3. It means this array, that is marks array, is the size of the marks array is 3, 3. 3 rows, 3 columns. 3 by 3. 3 rows, 3 columns. So in this single statements, we declare the array, we store the elements, automatically instantiation is also done here. So here in the second way, in another way, so it is, we have done all three things in single statement. We can declare and then assigning elements, instantiation. Here we have done in separately, right? So if you see, in the first statement we declared the array, in the second step we allotted the memory, in the third step we assigned the elements in particular memory location one by one. So as we discussed in the previous class related to 1D array, the same way here also we have done. In the first way you can write like this. So if you write in single statement, you have done three things. That is, declaration is done, instantiation is done, and also memory initialization is also done. You can write like this also. Not only in single statement, if you want to write separately, you have to follow this procedure. First you have to declare the array, and then you have to instantiation means allotment of the memory, and then initialization of the array. So if you observe here, declaration of the array, in the case of declaration of the array, you have to write two subscript of index because it is 2D array. Next, what we have done here, allotment, memory allotment. If you want to write memory allotment, you have to use new keyword and the data type of the array. Here, 2, number of rows and number of columns. Right. So here in this statement, what we have not, without writing these two, that is declaration and allotment of the memory separately, we combine these two statements, then we can write like this. You can write declaration and allotment of memory both combined, and then if you want to combine these two statements, it becomes like this. right? So this is the declaration, right? Int marks and these two subscript of indexes is equal to new int 2 3. So this part and this part we combined, right? So in this way also you can write without writing these two steps. If you combine these two steps, it becomes single statement like this. Okay, so this is declaration, this is memory allotment. You may follow this procedure writing two steps separately, or you may combine these two statements like this also. It is your choice, right? So after that what we are doing here is we are initializing the elements in each memory location, right? We know the names of the memory location. Here we have taken the array of 2 rows and 3 columns. 2 rows and 3 columns, right? So 2 rows, 3 columns means like this. Two rows and 3 columns, right? Means it contains like this. 2 rows. Hence we have divided into 2 parts and 3 columns. These are the 3 columns, right? So row index is starts from 0 and then 1. Here column index also starts from 0, 1, 2, right? So if you observe here, marks of 0, 0, it means this location. Row index is 0, column index. In this location what we assigned 15. So here 15 like this. Marks of 1, 1. 1, 1 means, so this is row index, this is column index. Here you have to store 65. Right. If you see here, marks of 2, 1. 2, 1 means second row, first column. It is not there here. So actually it is wrong. Here you have to write 1. This is 1 and this is 2. This is 2. This is row number 1 and column number 2. Sorry, row index 1, column index 2. Row index 1, column index 2. This location. Here you have to store 65. Sorry, this one is not 65 here. This is 45. Right? So this is how to create the 2D array. So first we discussed what is 2D array, and then in this particular side we learned how to create 2D array, how to declare, how to initialize, how to instantiate. You can do all these things in single step, or you may do in separate steps also, right? This is your choice. So in the next class we discuss a program related to 2D array. Okay, thank you.